Yeah, I saw this. Tennessee passed a bill on Monday that will allow potential parents who hold anti-LGBTQ beliefs to adopt and foster LGBTQ children. I love how like transparently hateful Republicans are, that they feel a need to specifically put forward a bill saying, yes, it is legally protected for uh gay children to be adopted by homophobic parents and trans children to be adopted by transphobic parents. Like just gonna concretely, cement that. But finally, at long last, abusers can adopt abusees. Exactly, exactly. If signed into law, the bill would conflict with federal rules that place safeguards on LGBTQ children. After passing in the Senate, the bill now heads to Governor Bill Lee. It states that the parents' beliefs about sexual orientation or gender identity do not create, quote, a presumption that any particular placement is contrary to the best interest of the child. So essentially, whether or not your parent, your prospective parent, believes that gay people are degenerate demons has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not a gay kid should be adopted by them. Justin's talking about the bill. Hey, I know this guy.
QIA.
Yo, growing the hair. Hell yes. Man, this dude is... Remember when we said during the big kerfuffle in Tennessee, like this guy is the oratory skill of a civil rights era speaker, and he heard that psychically from us and from everyone else who said that, and he was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna commit to the bit. Hell yes, absolutely. There are two Justins, Justin Jones and Justin Pierce. Yeah, but I think I made the same statement of both of them, didn't I? Though I think Jones was the one who I said had the stronger oratory skill, but I think both of them were flexing in similar ways, you know? Let's not compete. There are two Justin, it's like that meme, right? Where the artist thinks, "Oh man, my shitty cake isn't anything near as good as this other cake this other guy made." And then you come in, you're like, "Two cakes. Oh boy." Two Justins. Yeah.
Be placed into a home with someone who does not believe in or someone who does not view LGBTQIA people as people.
Shirley Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're trying to place the child in the best home that's possible for the child.
Representative Pearson.
Which the audio
intent
doesn't suck.
with this legislation would be that somebody who says their religious or moral beliefs are against queer folks would not have a queer child in their care, right?
Shirley Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It would be up to the parents and DCS to accept the child, and hopefully the child would want to accept them as well.
Representative Pearson.
Gotcha. My challenge with the legislation is that it is allowing for them to not accept the child as it relates to their sexual orientation or gender identity. So you, as the sponsor of this legislation, I just wanted to be clear, because now we're instructing a department to do something. We need to be very clear that we're not instructing them to send children into harm's way with parents or individuals who would be adopting them who do not love and care for them for all that they are and for who they are. That's not your intention, right?
Shirley Littleton.
That is not the intention at all. The intention is for the best interest of the child. That's the intention. To put it in a...
This is all you're ever going to get from them, because Republicans know that if they said the actual things they believed, that this is just a virtue signal bill that we're putting forward to remind all queer people that we've got our eyes on them and we're ready when we need to. Like they can't say that. So instead it's like, oh no, this like random bill, like just randomly, yeah, by the way, homophobic parents can now adopt gay kids. Openly homophobic parents, like, let's go. Like, this was a needed, like, this is exactly what the adoption system in America needed. Of the million bills you could have passed, like, this one is motivated exclusively by hate. There's no practical purpose. This doesn't affect or influence anything meaningful policy-wise. It's not even really a policy goal for conservatives. It's just another thing some dumb local rep staffer came up, some Nazi, some slavering 19-year-old Groiper type who serves as the staff of one of these local reps. He thought, oh, this would be funny. This would be funny. Let's have gay kids get adopted by parents who will beat them. And then they put it forward, and because every Republican in the Tennessee legislature, all wants queer children dead. You know, they all vote in it, yes, but there's no real defense. There's no actual, like, there's no logic to it. It's just demon shit. Yeah, literally, you might as well go to hell and ask them what they're up to, you know? Hey, what's with the pitchforks? Because why would you ask that? That's their thing.
Home that where it would be happy and the parents would be happy as well, the foster or adopted parents. It's for the protection of the child as well.
Representative Pearson.
Thank you. Chair Lady, I think this legislation probably shouldn't be getting voted on right now. It is wrong for us to legislate discrimination.
Discrimination cloaked
Justin.
under the guise of religion is still discrimination.
A nice white denim jacket. Justin, my man.
Hate cloaked under the veil of religion is still hate. You stated that you want these kids to be sent into a home where they're loved and where they can flourish. Can you explain the logic of how a child can go into a home?
Yeah, a second Justin has hit the Tennessee legislature. Vosh, she isn't actually lying. I grew up around Christians who thought it was in my best interest to not transition. They made me believe that till I grew up. Yes, but this is that no hate but Christian love thing, where Christians will look at you with open eyes and say, and you can't tell how much they know they're lying, yes, it is in your best interest for me to do this to you, you know? Like to beat you or to condemn you or to say that you're like demonic or you're possessed by a demon and they're just trying to help you. You can never know how sincere they're being, but I personally have always believed that to a large extent, they often know they're lying. You know, religious delusion can sort of motivate the sincerity of people's belief quite a bit. Like you can believe something irrational and really do believe it, but on a legislative level, I think they know. Maybe your individual, like mom, dad, whatever else, might believe that. But when you're operating at this level, when you're having like, you know, brunches with your fellow conservative legislatures discussing this, when you're voting yes and no on bills, when you're talking to fundraising groups, if you're talking to local businesses, your staffers, everything, I don't think sincerity for something this irrational can survive. Much in the same way that there are people who believe that trickle-down economics works, but you know who didn't? Republican legislatures in the 80s. The Reagan administration. They knew that shit didn't work. They were fully aware that it didn't. They did it because they wanted business people to have more money. Now, your average day-by-day on-the-ground Republican might have been convinced that it worked, but the people who were actually pushing that? No. They just came up with another lie, and they did that all the time, constantly. It wasn't the only time, you know? H.W. Bush literally called it voodoo economics. There are so many little tidbits of information that you get from older administrations, but especially anything Nixon and afterwards, where it's just so clear how little the elites believed in the shit that they fed you, especially when it came to pro-business economics, right? Like, this is one of those things people mistake as well, where they think like economists are all reactionary and pro-business and they all believe in trickle-down. Buddy, economists don't believe in trickle-down economics. They never have. It wasn't economists who were pushing the Reagan administration down that road. It was business owners. It was the bourgeoisie. Economists were screaming. The only economists who were let into the circles of power were ones who were decided to already have been pro-business. You know? Yeah, sociologists weren't the one waging the war on drugs. Economists weren't the ones pushing for, you know, trickle-down economics. And Christian love is not what is motivating these people to lie in the way they do.
Home where they're told that they are wrong, that their identity is wrong, that they don't belong, that they have made a mistake with who they are, and how can they flourish in such an environment? Representative Littleton, I'm struggling to understand the logic.
I'm not sure how many ways I can explain that this is for the best interest of the child. If those parents have religious and moral beliefs against it and do not want the child in their home, this prevents that. And maybe the child wouldn't want to go in that home. This is what protects the child. It's the best interest of the child.
It should be noted, by the way, that in a practical sense, there are going to be basically no consequences to this bill because it was already possible for homophobic or transphobic parents to adopt gay or trans kids. They could just like not be crazy loud about it. Like dude, the foster system does not adequately protect children now. You know, the only purpose of this bill is, yeah, exactly, a virtue signal. That's it. Literally, that's it. There's basically nobody's life is going to be affected by this because this is removing protections that already had no teeth. It's not, the problem with this is not the actual consequences there will be. The problem with this is the fact that they're so hateful that they feel the need to do virtue signals like this.
Representative Jones.
This bill is called the Tennessee Foster and Adoptive Parent Protection Act. It doesn't say the Child Protection Act.
Always defending the parent. Always parental rights. That's always the way they push it.
And nowhere in the script that they prepared for you did you answer the question to say, how can a child be protected and feel validated and flourish in an environment where they may be put in a home that says that because they are LGBTQ+, that they are wrong, that they are mistaken? Can you give us an example in your district or in this state that may merit this legislation, a real-life example of somebody perhaps who reached out to you about this?
Chairlady Littleton, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill says, the Department of Children's Services shall not require a current or prospective adoptive or foster parent to affirm, accept, or support any government policy regarding sexual orientation or gender identity that conflicts with the parent's sincerely held religious or moral beliefs. So you're saying right the opposite. This says that they don't have to accept them.
Notice how she didn't give an example of a single person that this might benefit, a single problem this might solve, or a single voter who reached out to her.
Representative Jones.
Thank you. So again, my question was, can you give an example? And we cannot. This legislature has done everything they can to bully LGBTQ children and teens, and it is wrong. We are adults here bullying children and putting them in environments where they're not safe. When we leave here, colleagues, we should be ashamed that we're letting these things go through. This is a bill that is a solution in search of a problem. This is a bill about legislating hate. This is a bill about using religion, the white sheet, whatever you want to call it, cloaking it over discrimination, over children. And that is who we should be concerned with protecting every day in this body.
Neat. Love Tennessee. Wacky, wacky place. Like I said, I don't think this is actually going to have much of an effect on the lives of any adopted children because they could have done this already, you know?